Chapter 7 One Pain is Lessened by Another's Anguish. Lost in thought, Romeo Montague didn't notice me standing next to him. Not even when my apricot pit plunked into the grass. He mumbled words like woe and agony. There sat the true Romeo of Shakespeare's story, the depressed out-of-his-mind Romeo. You see, Romeo is supposed to begin the play in a deep state of melancholy. He could be the poster boy for the antidepressant pill of the week. But Troy never quite got the fact that a depressed person wouldn't strut onto the stage. A depressed person wouldn't wink at the audience. Troy, who had probably never spent a depressed moment in his sunshiny life. Troy, who probably had no idea what it was like to be attracted to someone. But to have that someone ignore him or outright ridicule him with offers of kissing lessons. Rosalind, Romeo murmured. That is the reason, or I should say, she is the reason for his despair. Romeo tightened his arms around his legs. His puffy shorts were dyed the color of an apricot, and his white shirt had come untucked. A breeze blew the willow's graceful branches so their long shadows seemed to caress him, as if the tree felt his pain. I felt his pain. It flowed from every pore in his body, tumbling forth with each breath. Would it be rude to interrupt him? Probably. But how could I walk away from an opportunity to talk to one of the most famous teenagers ever? Even if he were a figment of my imagination, it sure beats waking up and going back on that stage. I cleared my throat. "Leave me alone, Benvolio," he spoke softly, then buried his face deeper. "Hello," I said. He leapt to his feet, and I took a step back. We looked at each other with equal surprise. Then he bowed. "Forgive me, my lady, I did not hear your approach." We stood in silence as he composed himself, running his hands through his short brown hair and wiping his cheeks dry with his billowy sleeve. His gaze was almost unbearable, the sorrow penetrating. "I'm Mimi." "I'm Romeo." He bowed again but did not straighten all the way. It took effort for him to stand. His shoulders slumped like the branches of an overabundant fruit tree. To ease his burden, I sat down in some matted grass. He sat next to me. I wasn't sure where to begin. It wasn't like I had prepared an interview sheet. Fortunately, he took up the conversation for me. "I meant to say that I was Romeo. I don't feel like him anymore. I fear that I have lost myself." "I'm lost too," I said excitedly. We had something in common. "I don't feel like myself either." He scooted closer to me. He smelled sweaty, but in a nice way. My dream Romeo looked boyish and cute, with smooth skin and only a light dusting of fuzz on his upper lip. A late bloomer. "Is love the reason you are lost?" Where to begin? I was lost on so many levels. I've never been in love. "Nor I. Until last Thursday when I first saw Rosalind. I told her that I adored her. I offered my heart." He sighed and gazed into the distance. "She said she would not have me, so I told her I possessed chests overflowing with gold coins. Still she would not have me." He clenched his fists. "She has vowed to live chaste. Why would a woman turn away from love?" I knew it wasn't personal. According to Shakespeare's play, Rosalind would not have any man. She had chosen a chaste life, to enter into God's service. Strange, but even though I was aware I was in a dream, I wanted to help Romeo feel better. I wanted to tell him that as soon as he would see Juliet at a party, he would fall in love with her and never think of another woman again. And then he would be too dead to think of any woman. Maybe I shouldn't tell him that. "Forgive me, but I can think of nothing else. All day she torments me. All night her beauty haunts me. Lady Mimi, do women suffer for love as much as men?" His sorrow pierced me all over like straight pins. "Tell me what you know of love." "I don't know anything about love," I replied. Romeo sighed and rested his head on his knees. I had disappointed him. But what wisdom did I possess? Me, the dateless wonder? Sure, there had been that crush thing, but I'd gotten over it. Sure, Troy had made fun of me, and maybe I hadn't gotten over that part, but I didn't like him anymore. I didn't even think about him. What a waste of time that would have been. "You'll fall in love again," was all I could think to say. "My opinion exactly," said another voice. Now it was my turn to leap to my feet, bumping my back against the willow's trunk in the process. So caught up in Romeo's plight, I hadn't noticed the other man coming towards us. Unlike Romeo, this guy carried a sword, though it was tucked away in a scabbard. He wore similar black tights and puffy orange shorts. He hadn't bothered to tie his linen shirt, so his chest glistened like some cover model for a romance novel. "Romeo, are you out of your mind? Talking to a Capulet, and a woman nonetheless." I caught the disgust that flashed across his face when he said Capulet. I felt as if I'd been spit upon, which made no sense, since I wasn't actually a Capulet. But I felt it, all the same. "Huh?" Romeo peered up at me. "A A Capulet? The man shook his head. Black curls fell across his forehead. So lovesick you didn't even notice her colors? Truly, you worry me, cousin. He turned his attention to me. My lady, I advise you continue on your way. It is my duty to look after my younger cousin, and your presence endangers him. He pushed aside a short black cape, exposing a brown shoulder in the process. My gaze traveled up his long neck and over his stubbled jaw, stopping on lips that Fernanda would have killed to gloss. Something took flight in my stomach. This was how those giggling girls in the front row felt when Troy walked on stage. "Romeo, your father has sent me to find you." "Leave me alone, Benvolio." "What? Leave you here to moan and groan on such a lovely day? Do you see this, my lady? 15 years of age, nearly a man, and he's devoted his heart to a nun. Cousin, I urge you to examine other beauties." Benvolio raised an eyebrow at me, and my face went hot. His was the part that Troy could have played, the flirt. I stared at his classic face, at the aquiline nose and the high cheekbones that Italian masters had preferred to sculpt. The blood of the Caesars coursed through him. Embarrassing, lusting after a character from a dream. Totally pathetic. He crouched next to Romeo and placed a gloved hand on Romeo's shoulder. "Be ruled by me, cousin. Forget about Rosalind." "Forget about her?" Romeo's voice rose in desperation. "Then teach me how I should forget to think." "You are hopeless." Benvolio stood and grasped his sword's hilt. "You should go," he said to him. "Romeo is in no condition to defend himself if a Capulet guard come." His urging was gentle, yet firm. "You must get yourself to Capulet House." I was endangering Romeo, I knew that, but shouldn't I be able to control my own dream? I could just send the guard away. Yet the soldier, Friar Lawrence, and Benvolio had each insisted that I go to Capulet House. Seemed to be the direction my dream desired. "I don't know how to get to Capulet House." "You are not of Verona?" "No, I'm from Manhattan. I've come for the party." "Well, that explains why you were sitting with a Montague. Do you not know the situation around here?" I played dumb. Truth be told, I liked his attention, and I could have leaned against that tree until my imaginary legs gave out, if it meant talking to him. "The houses of Montague and Capulet are at war, my lady. Whether you are from Verona or some distant land, your Capulet blood makes us enemies." He looked around, then folded his arms. "I will guide you to Capulet House, but you must not walk beside me. Not as long as you wear Capulet colors." "I understand." "Come along, Romeo. Your father has not seen you in 2 days, and it looks as if you've not eaten or bathed in as many." "I shall remain here a while longer," Romeo said. "I must figure out how to change Rosalind's heart." "Suit yourself." Benvolio rolled his eyes. "Goodbye, Romeo," I said. "Goodbye, Lady Mimi. Some day you will know love. I hope it is as deep and true as mine." Benvolio groaned. "I shall return for you, Romeo, and when I do, we shall seek wine, women, and dance. Anything to snap you from your trance." He focused his chocolate eyes on me. "Shall we go, Mimi of Manhattan?" I followed Benvolio into the city. Following his dark tights and long body, he turned to check my progress now and again. People watched as he passed by. He bowed to a few, waved to others. Men hissed, "Montague," under their breaths, but the women stared lustily. "My lady!" A guy in a leather vest strode towards me, his bulky quads stretching the fabric of his golden tights. He carried a sword and appeared to have no neck. "Have you come for the party?" I stopped walking. "Yes, I'm from out of town." "Have you no guard?" the guy asked. Benvolio leaned against a wall, pretending to be interested in the state of his fingernails. He watched me from the corner of his eye. "Thanks, but I don't need a guard," I said. "All Capulet women must have guards, by the order of Lord Capulet himself." His porous face turned red as he scowled. He spoke loud enough for Benvolio to hear. "You are not safe on the streets with those low-life Montagues lurking about." Benvolio coolly ignored the challenge. "You will come with me." "I'm doing just fine on my own," I told him, not wanting to leave my hunky escort. It was like choosing between a creamy cappuccino and a deep-fried slab of hamburger. I knew which one I would prefer with my morning walk. But the guy was insistent. "I am under orders. I shall escort you to Capulet House." I turned my back to Benvolio and said quietly between clenched teeth, "Thanks, but no thanks. I'm fine on my own." I tried to slip away, but he blocked my progress with his beefy frame. "If you do not come willingly, then I shall be forced to carry you." "Carry me? Look, buddy, go find another Capulet woman to harass. I don't need your help." In a single swoop, I found myself in mid-air, then slung over a broad shoulder. "Hey!" I shouted. "My apologies, my lady, but I shall lose drinking privileges if I disobey orders." He started up the road. Benvolio slipped into a bakery as we passed by. I had planned on telling him that he shouldn't take Romeo to the Capulet party, because it would only end very badly, but I decided not to call out to him. No telling what the guard would do. When I looked back, Benvolio had returned to the street. Our eyes met, and it felt as if I stuck my finger into an electric socket.